Hi everyone, it's Marisa Williams at Southern Technical College, and today we're going to go over the difference between a reference citation and your in-text citation for an APA paper. They are two different things. People love to get them confused, so we're going to just go over the basics of it. For your in-text citation, we're basically looking for the author last name and year. Doesn't matter how you say it. You can put it in parentheses at the end of a sentence, like Brown, comma, 2008. If you're putting it in parentheses, notice that the period goes outside of the parentheses because that parentheses is considered part of that sentence. You don't always have to do it that way. Another alternative is you could put Brown, parentheses, 2008, showed, blah, 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 blah. Whatever you do, it doesn't matter as long as you have that last name in the year. You can also write it something like, in 2008, Brown reported, blah, 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 blah. Again, you have the author last name and the year. On the reference page, it's going to look like this because now we have the author last name with the first initial. In the year, we have the name of the article the book, and where it was published and all that good stuff, okay? And those citations for your reference page can look different. A journal may look a little different because now we're looking for the article name, what article it appeared in, the pages, and where they found that. So there can be different things in there. The nice thing is if you are using the Learn website, L-I-R-N, you can actually have them do all the formatting for you. You just hit the cite button and paste it. Again, no matter what kind you're using, you're still using that author last name and year, even though it's a journal, okay? Even if it's a website, a lot of people love to look online. Sometimes we don't have the author last name. What do? Oh no, oh my gosh. It's okay. We just use the name of the article, okay? So in this one, we're looking at Medline Plus, and there was an article on Medline Plus about complementary and integrative medicine, okay? And now we're given that exact website. Notice the ND, that stands for no date. That article did not have a date on it. Sometimes we have that happen when we're online, and that's okay. What do we do in this case? We use the name of the article and the year. Even if there's not a year, you just put N period, D period. And again, we can put that in parentheses at the end of a sentence, complementary and integrative medicine, comma, N period, D period, no date. Notice I have the parenthesis, and then I put a period outside of that parenthesis because that parenthesis is considered part of that sentence. So you're putting it right after where you're talking about it. You can put it into a written part. You don't have to put it in parentheses. You could just say blah, 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 as reported in complementary and integrative medicine. Notice I still have the N period, D period in parentheses because we don't know the date, and we're letting people know that we don't know the date. So that's what that is. So the general rule of thumb is if it appears on your reference page, it needs to appear in the body of your paper at least once. From Learn, you get a specific thing that shows the exact link that you're going to. So people know on campus that it's a Learn one, and if you notice that 33421 that appears right here at the very end, Learn 33421. That's what lets our instructors know that you actually got it from Learn. Okay, so Learn websites, you actually have a specific URL type look to it. That's what lets our instructors know. Sometimes they can vary a little bit, so if yours doesn't have it, don't worry, it's okay. Some of them look a little different, but they still have the basics. And again, when you're citing it in your paper, article name and year. That's what we have on this one. We didn't have the author. We just have the author last name, the article name and the year. So again, you can put it in parentheses. Period goes outside of that parenthesis because it's considered part of that sentence. Or you can just talk about it in normal paragraph form. In the article, celiac disease in 2012, it shows that blah, 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 blah. Okay. So let me show you. I actually have one of my former students' papers pulled up. The reference page is still Times New Roman, 12-point font. It's still double spaced. Now, in this one, you use what's called the hanging indent. For hanging indent, I'll show you how to do that here in just a second. But let me show you what I have on one of my students' papers. So in her paper, she had one citation where she did not have the name of the author. So if you see where it says can take up to 6 weeks, parenthesis, I got the name of the article, comma, the year, parenthesis, and then that period goes outside of that parenthesis. I know it's a little weird looking on the screen. She had another citation that she used where she did have the author's last name, and it appears like this: Davidson, comma, 2012, specifically pages 1202 to 1205. So if you're using a book, you want to put those specific pages where you found that information. So there are different ways to approach those. So that's how it looks in the text of her body. Now, if we scroll down, her reference page is a little different. And in this one, I think we might have actually lost it. But just to give you an idea of the title page setup, again, the running head on this one is Adderall. If we switch to the next page, it just shows Adderall, not the running head, but you still have your page number on that same line. Okay, so just an example of how that should look on your paper. And again, if you need to do a citation, I like this website. It's called Nightcite. Let me back it up so you can see what it looks like when you're searching for it. It's KNIGHTCITE. But when you actually look for it in a search, it'll, like if you put in Nightcite into Google, it's gonna appear like this. So it'll say calvin.edu, and it has Nightcite Citation Services, Calvin University. You just click on that. Again, you wanna make sure you're an APA over here, which we are. This one is a website document. Again, you just put in the number of authors. Sometimes you don't know the author. You just go to author unknown if that's the case, okay? It says how many authors are there. Say there's 6. It'll give you enough to put as many lanes as you need, okay? Maybe there's just 1. That's okay. In the website title, if I'm going to something like Mayo Clinic, the website title might be mayoclinic.org. The website or the document title may be that specific thing I'm looking at. Maybe I'm looking at respiratory ailments on Mayo Clinic. So Mayo Clinic would be the website title. Document title would be the respiratory ailments. I want to look for the date published. Sometimes it's there, sometimes it's not. If not, again, N period, D period means no date. And you put in that URL. Again, to do that, click up here. You can do a Control-C to copy. Just go down here, do a Control-V. Obviously, you're not gonna put the Nightcite website in there. You're gonna put the website of whatever it is that you're looking at. I'm just putting in there to show you how it will look, okay? And then, was this found in a database? If you're using the Learn website, then yes. But if not, no. And if you're using Learn, you shouldn't even have to worry about that because you just hit that Cite button in the Learn database and it'll do it for you, okay? So this would be more so if you're looking on Google, if you're using your book, things like that, okay? So a lot of times you're not using a database, so you don't even have to worry about it. If you are using database and you want to put the date of access, some instructors like it, some don't care. It is something that can vary from instructor to instructor, so just ask them if they want the date of access. Little research ahead of time goes a long way, right? Then you submit, it puts it in how you need it, and you just copy and paste it right into your reference page, okay? So on the reference page, it can be kind of tricky because you have this type thing. Now, say I need to format that into hanging indent. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna right click, not left click, I'm gonna right click. I'm gonna go down to paragraph and I'm gonna left click it like I normally do. When I get this, I'm gonna get this funky little box that pops up and it says paragraph, right? If I go over, there's a special box right here and it says hanging. I just wanna make sure that it says hanging and I wanna make sure it's double spaced, and then I'm just gonna click OK, and it'll automatically do that formatting for me. Now this one, you can't really see how it looks because we don't have multiple lines on this one, but basically it's the opposite of a paragraph. The way a paragraph appears, you have the first line indented and the other ones kind of go out. With the hanging indent, the first line is gonna go out and the rest are gonna indent a little bit. So it's kind of the opposite that a paragraph should look. So, but again, if you need to do that, again, right click, not left click, right in front of where you want it to indent at. Just right click, go down to paragraph. You get that funky looking thing that pops up, go to the special box, make sure it says hanging, make sure that line spacing is double, and then just click OK, and it automatically does the rest for you. All right, if you have any questions, feel free to email me, mwilliams@southerntech.edu. Hopefully this helps y'all. Have a good one.